Beautiful styling, lines that make you feel like a superhero, like a true racing car driver. An engine note that is as exotic as it is familiar. The interior hugs you, whispering in your ear, it's okay to go faster. Every panel is put together, simply, with working human hands. Its design and functionality begging you to carve the curviest back roads and drive the longest stretches of highway. It does this simultaneously and seamlessly. It is the apex of car design. The new C8 is the ultimate example of modern-day car confusion. It is everything and nothing at the same time. It is both groundbreaking and more of the same. It is cheap but expensive, depending on your perspective. It is a Corvette, but it doesn't look like one. It is not only the ultimate copycat, but also the ultimate standout. It's a cliché before clichés were cliché. It asks questions nobody asked and answers ones nobody wanted answered. And for the rest of this essay, I'm going to explain to you exactly why the new C8 is no different than a Hyundai. I think by the end you will have no choice but to agree. We are all lucky enough to live in the peak of horsepower, handling, and car manufacturing. If you consider that less than 25 years ago the Corvette had 300 horsepower and it was considered to be state-of-the-art. Now your 11th grade teacher drives a 270 horsepower Hyundai that she picked up from Timmy John's Auto for the blowout special of $19,995. And she got a killer deal through Sunmark Bank for only 10% interest for 72 months because she has credit problems. These, of course, are from her 2 divorces and current, slightly younger boyfriend buying too many cases of Michelob Ultra and Pall Mall cigarettes every weekend. Cheryl, I don't care about the credit card, I just need to try that new lime flavor. Essentially, cars have become so much less than what they want to be. The new engines put out horsepower numbers that nobody cares about, and they throw technology into cars that half their customer base can't even figure out how to use. They all look like angry rabbits, and I don't blame them. In our current social media mob house, the only thing people seem to actually care about is how that new car looks with 15 different filters and 7 different angles that looks like they have a personal photographer. Throw on top of that increasingly more strict safety regulations and emissions requirements, and you have a recipe for 50 cars from 50 different manufacturers that look essentially identical. But why is that such a problem? Well, let's look at Hyundai for example, particularly their Genesis line of cars. They essentially took all of the best styling cues from every luxury car and stuck them all onto one. Now, there's absolutely no doubt that the Genesis is a beautiful car, and it is also a very fun and engaging car to drive. So that begs the question, how? How does Hyundai do it? How can they offer that much style and performance for such a low cost? 2 things: budget cuts and marketing. Many people don't know this, but Hyundai Motor Corporation is currently going through one of the largest recalls in recent history. They manufactured their engines incorrectly and have recalled all cars with the 2.4 GDI motor because they are essentially blowing up. The new Honda Civic has no less than 3 recalls currently. Subaru has multiple recalls for their transmissions, Chevrolet for their engines, Toyota for some of their transmissions, and the list goes on and on and on. These are all top dog car manufacturers, and it seems like every model they sell has a myriad of problems. This is the result of the consumer caring about the wrong things. Manufacturers produce what sells, and right now what sells is a Batmobile styling and more technology than a space station. The problem is, all of that costs money, and the budget cuts are coming in the form of cheaper made parts, thinner metal, and more outsourcing. So what about marketing? Very simple. Lies. Everything is a lie. Smoke and mirrors, if you will. For example, the start-stop feature most cars have. Manufacturers love to market that as a way to save fuel and make the car quieter at idle and blah, 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 blah. Lies. In reality, it makes the cars jerky and weird and feel like they're braking. And any fuel savings are so minor that nobody will ever even notice. Or, how about the turbos that every car has nowadays? Yes, I will concede that you get good power and good fuel economy. The new Civic Si has 205 horsepower and gets an average of 36 miles per gallon. That is pretty impressive. But what is less impressive are the 3 recalls, the engine heat, and the fact that you can feel the car pulling timing if you do any more than 2 minutes of spirited driving. Again, marketing and lies. And all of this is backed up by the dealerships, who literally act like you are an alien if you come back after you buy the car. They hide behind giant corporation mentality and prey on a weak and unknowledgeable customer base with incentives such as a free state inspection. Then they proceed to tell you your 1-year-old car needs $1,500 worth of work to pass that inspection, to which you reply, but it's brand new and only has 10,000 miles. The service department will give you a half-hearted but calming laugh and explain how they just don't make them like they used to. When I look at the new C8, I see all of these problems with the car industry wrapped into one vehicle. I see a Hyundai. The C8 literally looks like a Ferrari 458 and a McLaren 720S had a baby before marriage, and they were both on drugs and heavily intoxicated both during and throughout the pregnancy. The C8 is pretending to be something that it never should be, and the manufacturers are losing the soul of the Corvette at the same time. The C8 will no doubt be a numbers monster. It will be an amazing deal, and put down even more amazing numbers at the track. It will boast 0 to 60, quarter mile, and top speed figures that will rival cars that cost 4 times as much. But none of this is anything new. Let's be honest, the Corvette has been doing that for the last 3 generations anyway. The price is going to be exceptionally low for a mid-engine car. But is it really? We will ask the same question we asked with Hyundai. How? Well, very simply, it is using the same engine from the last generation, which used the same basic design from the same engine GM has been producing for 30 years. It is only being offered in an automatic, which GM is touting as a specially designed trans because no available DCT could handle the torque of the LT2 motor. You're kidding me, right? What about all the other cars that have way more horsepower and way more torque and have DCTs? This is just another example of marketing covering up the real reason. And that reason is, it is cheaper to make only one transmission. And that is one of the corners they cut to keep the price so low. But let's just look at the styling choices GM made. The C8 is the epitome of the #MeToo movement in the car industry. That is defined as, oh, look at that really cool looking design. I bet if we made our car look like that, then people would buy more of them. And thus, you have everything looking like a Lexus, a BMW, and an Audi. But that is a discussion for another time. The bottom line here is that car manufacturers and the new generation of car enthusiasts need to realize one thing. If everybody is special, then nobody is. I want you to think back to my opening statement of this video. Do you know what car I was describing? Congratulations, Chevy. You made a Hyundai.